How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Data here, and welcome back to another career simulation here on NHL 23. Today going through the highly anticipated career of Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard, a franchise generational prospect who has put up incredible numbers in the WHL. 71 goals on 143 points this past season, 23 points in 7 games of the World Juniors with Team Canada, and now, after the Chicago Blackhawks have just minutes ago won 2023 NHL Draft Lottery, we know that he will be selected by the Chicago Blackhawks at the draft in June, just a little over a month away from now. We already ran a Bedard simulation a few months ago on NHL 23 where I actually placed him on the Chicago Blackhawks. Funnily enough, they were the worst team in the league at that time, but this will be a very different simulation as they are no longer a bad team with good pieces, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews. They are now a very bad team with not great pieces, some good prospects, but not really anything going for them right now. They are the definition of a rebuilding team. Obviously, many people upset that he went to the Blackhawks for all of the organizational reasons surrounding the Blackhawks. I won't get into all of that, but he will be going to that team. Will he be staying with the Blackhawks for the entirety of his career? Will he win awards? Will he win Stanley Cups? What will he do in his career? That's what we're going to be doing here in this simulation. And he'll be starting off, as the game has him, at an 80 overall with medium franchise potential, 4-star shooting already, 90 offensive awareness, high puck skills, low physical of course, but he'll likely grow over time. His height and his weight will likely grow, all those abilities. We had him in our San Jose Sharks franchise mode series on NHL 23 where he had an incredible career. He ended basically second all time in league scoring. So we'll see how he does now when placed on a rebuilding team where he has to be the cornerstone and he doesn't really have much support around him at this time. If you want to see more franchise mode or career simulation content on NHL 23 as well as other ongoing series on the channel and breaking news and analysis of the real world of hockey, be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss out on any of that, and be sure to leave a like on the video as well. It really does help with the performance of it, and with me simulating literally through the evening, pulling an all-nighter. It is 8:30 p.m. I gotta be at work at 8:30 a.m. I'm running, this usually takes about a week to do. I'm gonna try and crank it all out in one evening and get you this simulation ASAP. So if you enjoy it, leave a like and please do consider subscribing. As we run through this simulation, we'll be taking control of a totally separate team. We have no control over what the Blackhawks or any other team does with Connor Bedard. The league will change over time, of course, with trades and waivers and free agency and all that going on, but we will just be watchers. We will not have any influence on the league itself. We'll see what kind of records, if any, Connor Bedard will break, the awards, the accolades, the Stanley Cups, how much money he'll make over his whatever 20+ year career. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. I tried my best to make the top 5 realistic to the NHL, but it's impossible to trade for every pick and then trade them back to the teams that actually have them. I was able to get Chicago the #1 pick, and that's just about it, unfortunately. I can't give the Ducks #2. The Blue Jackets do get #3 at least, so that's lucky, but this universe that we create will unfortunately be not exactly perfect, but you know, we can still enjoy it. So with the first overall pick in the 2023 draft, the Blackhawks go ahead and select Connor Bedard, medium franchise, 80 overall, center sniper, now up to 194 pounds and 5'11", and he's been given the 1T zone ability as well as the superstar abilities of Make It Snappy, Relentless, All Alone, Snipe, and Close Quarters. So let's see what the Blackhawks do over the 2023 offseason headed into Connor Bedard's rookie season. Year #1 and the Connor Bedard era has begun in Chicago. The team is not looking great. Max Domi came back. Look at that. They got Oliver Bjorkstrand on a contract as he went to free agency after being with Seattle. They got Corey Perry in here, but still not a super impressive team. Bedard starts out his NHL career as a second-line centerman on the Hawks with Philip Kurashev as his left wing and Taylor Radish as his right wing. On defense, they convinced Matt Dumba to come over on a contract. There you go. The Connor Bedard effect, but still not a great defensive core, and goaltending is still, who's this guy? Jackson Stauber. I forgot about him. Stauber, and Peter Mrazek backing him up. So a little 10 of 80 overalls. Connor Bedard, not hoping for much in terms of the team this season, but he's an 80 overall. He's listed as a depth forward, that franchise potential. I don't believe his attributes have changed since the draft. Let's see if he can capture the Calder in the 2023-24 season. In year #1, Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks finish third last in the NHL with a 30th place finish. Not to anyone's surprise, really, I don't think. A record of 32, 39, and 11. Good news and bad news on Connor Bedard is that bad news, he had no support and scored 14 goals and 35 assists for 49 points in a full, healthy 82-game season. He was a negative 24, only took 10 penalty minutes, and was averaging 19.5 minutes of ice time per night. Bad news. Good news is he is now up to an 86 overall and is listed as a second-line forward, so he's ready for a big sophomore season. Already 5-star puck skills, senses, and shooting coming off of his rookie season. So although Bedard did not win the Calder Memorial Trophy that went to Alexander Holtz on the New Jersey Devils, I am looking forward to a big sophomore year from Bedard in year number 2. Okay, year number 2, and here's where we start to get a little crazy. Connor Bedard's up to an 88 overall. We'll probably start seeing more realistic numbers from here on out, as I think he'll do much better from year 2 onward than he did in his rookie season. I doubt he gets a 40-point rookie season. I think he'll be much more. The Blackhawks go out and make some big splashes, signing William Nylander, Chandler Stevenson. It's the Connor Bedard effect. Obviously, maybe not 100% realistic, but that's the simulation that we're going with. We're just following Connor Bedard. His line mates this season, Max Domi on his left, Oliver Bjorkstrand on his right. He's up to an 88 overall, listed as a first-line forward. Frank Nazar, who was drafted in the first round in 2022, is starting on the first line, but I'm sure Bedard will find his way onto the first line sooner rather than later. 5-star puck skills, senses, shooting, 4-star defense, 4-star skating, still only 1.5-star physical, but I think he'll manage. 97 offensive awareness as well. Let's see how this Blackhawks squad does with not only an 88 overall Connor Bedard, but a much stronger team overall. Slight improvement from the Blackhawks in year number 2, as they now finish 5th last in the league, 28th in the league, moving up 2 more spots, but still a record of 35, 40, and 7 in Bedard's sophomore season. A better season, but very poor utilization of Connor Bedard by the Blackhawks. He plays in 80 out of 82 games, scoring 21 goals and 38 assists, 59 points. He's a negative 20, but what's most shocking is that he's only playing 18 minutes per night. Now at a 90 overall after 2 seasons, the numbers aren't super impressive. If you're hoping for a Bedard downfall, we're seeing it so far through his first couple of years. I have no doubt that he'll pick it up as he did in our Sharks franchise, but just to say, through 2 seasons, 5-star puck skills, senses, shooting, and defense, now just 4-star skating and 2-star physical, as he'll be heading into the final year of his original entry-level contract. Okay, year number 3, and we're finally ready to go. Connor Bedard now up to a 92 overall in his 3rd season. He has Doug Bootland on his left wing. The Hawks were 5th last in the league, as we remember, but they won the draft lottery again in 2025, and they drafted this guy, Doug Bootland, with the 1st overall pick. He's on the left wing. William Nylander's on the right wing. Frank Nazar finally moved down to the 2nd line. Bedard has the 1st line to himself at a 92 overall. 5-star everything already, aside from just the 2-star physical, 99 offensive awareness, 98 shooting power, 95 deking, 93 defensive awareness. Let's see if we can finally have a nice point per game or so season, and how close the Hawks can get to a postseason berth in 2025-26. In year number 3, the Blackhawks just squeak into the 2026 postseason as the last team to make it, doing so for the first time in 6 years, having not made the postseason since 2020. They had a record of 38, 33, and 11 to make it back to the big dance. Connor Bedard continues to slowly improve. It's the first 30-goal season of his career. 31 goals, 33 assists, 64 points in 82 games. He was negative 6 and finally got over 20 minutes of ice time per night. He's now up to a 92 overall headed into the postseason. And just for anyone who's curious, who may be new to franchise mode, don't expect the ridiculous numbers of the real world. For example, Connor McDavid scoring 150 points. Expect McDavid, as he's doing right here, scoring around 120 points at his best. That's kind of just how the simulation goes. As you see, in the real-life NHL, I believe it was 9 players scoring 100 points or more this past season. 2025-26, only 1 player scoring over 100 points. So everything is relative, but keep that in mind when considering Bedard's numbers. In the postseason, the Blackhawks put up a fight, but the Avalanche were just way too strong. They won the President's Trophy, they win back-to-back Stanley Cups, and little tidbit, they had Patrick Kane in their lineup as well. So Patrick Kane and the Avalanche take down the Hawks in 6 before going on to win the Stanley Cup in 2026. In his first postseason, Bedard still learning the ropes, only 1 goal and 2 assists for 3 points through 6 games. But after this postseason, at the end now of his entry-level contract, he is at a 93 overall. As we've been saying, 5-star everything, now 2.5-star physical, 94 acceleration, 95 deking, 99 offensive awareness. The shooting attributes all between 93 and 98. He'll be needing a new contract, though. That ELC is over. What kind of deal does he sign? For how much? For how long? And can he finally start putting up some of the numbers that you would think a 93 overall should be putting up? Year number 4 in Chicago, and Connor Bedard has signed long-term with the Blackhawks, a 7-year extension paying him $9.475 million per season, just over $66 million to stay with the Hawks for at least 7 more years. He will be an expiring UFA, though, so we'll see in 7 years' time if he goes to free agency. He and William Nylander, who has 5 years left on his deal, they should be a top pair for years to come, especially Bootlin, already a 90 overall. This should be one of the best first lines in the NHL. Connor Bedard, 93 overall, all of those ridiculous attributes already at 21 years of age. Coming off of the first 30-plus goal season of his career and bringing the Blackhawks back to the postseason for the first time in 6 years. Let's see if that continues now in 2026-27. Ooh, and despite having more wins than last season, the Hawks just miss out on the playoffs, finishing 20th best in the league with a record of 41, 36, and 5, as Anaheim and Calgary in 19th and 16th respectively both make it above them. Another really odd season in Chicago. I really don't get that top line with so much firepower on it. Bedard scores 32 goals and 61 points in 77 games. He misses 5 games. That's all right. Nylander, 15 goals, 57 points. Bootlin, 51 points as a 93 overall now himself. Like, is league scoring that bad? No, a couple of 100-point scorers this season. A lot of 90s, 80s. Of course, I know in franchise mode, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. The totals are going to be different. But still, only 61 and 77 from Connor Bedard. Missing out on the postseason once again. Still a 93 overall at the end of this 4th season for him in the NHL. The attributes look amazing, but things just don't seem to be clicking in Chicago. So hopefully, a strong 2027 offseason will get them ready for year number 5. Year number 5, and the Hawks are mixing things up again. Connor Bedard is starting the season as second-line center with Jeff Skinner on his left and Max Domi, his old friend, on his right. The first line is Nylander, Nazar, and Bootlin, so I don't know if you're just curious about the defense, what's going on here. Korchinski, D'Angelo, Jones, Dumba, Ristolainen, we got those names. Jake Allen and Matt Murray are the 2 goaltenders right now in 2027-28. So Connor Bedard now at 22 years of age, his 5th NHL season, 93 overall. The puck skills are not as high as they've been, I don't believe. But the offensive awareness, the shooting, it's all there. So let's see if we can finally crack something like point-per-game status and get this team back into the postseason. More pain in year number 5 as the Blackhawks win 37 games but still finish 28th in the NHL. A record of 37, 40, and 5, scoring way more than usual but also allowing more than usual. So truly baby steps here, as both Blackhawks goaltenders had sub-900 save percentages and goals against average above 3. But Connor Bedard has his first 40-goal season of his career, 79 points in 82 games, 39 assists along with those 40 goals, ended up with 20 minutes and 4 seconds of ice time per night. Nice to see that, but just the team itself not coming together. Connor Bedard, all these lovely attributes, still 5-star everything plus 2.5-star physical. 5 more years on his contract after this one, so still lots of time to make it right, but with such high overall firepower, this team should be competing. Year number 6, and if 94 overall Connor Bedard on the first line can't score 90 points, I don't know who can. Bootlin on his left at a 94, Nylander on his right at an 89. Let's go now. Connor Bedard, 94 overall at the age of 23, 5-star everything, 2.5-star physical, 99 offensive awareness, 97 deking, 95 passing, all shooting attributes between 94 and 98. Come on now, Connor, let's get it. 2028-29. Showtime. All right, in year number 6, the Blackhawks return to the postseason with authority, finishing top 10 in the NHL with 97 points, a record of 47, 32, and 3. Connor Bedard finally coming into his own. 78 games played, 47 goals, 47 assists, and 94 points for the 23-year-old. Incredible. Bootland 89, Nylander 69. That top line getting it done, and he did it with 20:02 of ice time. I'm not sure what's going on in the special teams, why he's not playing 24 minutes a night, but I'll take the 47 goals and 94 points. Career highs all around. In the postseason, the Hawks went on a very nice run, making it out of the first round for the first time since they won their last Stanley Cup back in 2015, 14 years ago, taking down the Ducks in 7, the Canucks in 7, but then falling in the Western Conference Final in 5 games to the Colorado Avalanche. They have easily been the best team of this franchise mode simulation so far. I think that's their 4th Stanley Cup final in the last 5 years. They ended up getting swept by the Ottawa Senators, who win the 2029 Cup, but kudos to the Blackhawks on a very nice run. In the postseason, it was the Connor Bedard show. 13 goals and 25 points through 19 games. I believe he finished 3rd or 4th in entire postseason scoring as well, despite not even playing in the Stanley Cup final. So kudos to you, Connor Bedard. 25-point postseason, career highs in the regular season, 95 overall now. 5-star everything aside from the 3-star physical, shooting power at 99, deking at 99, an incredible season for the 23-year-old. And he did it all while only getting 3 minor penalties, only 6 penalty minutes, so Connor Bedard captures the first Lady Byng Memorial Trophy of his career, his first piece of hardware through now 6 seasons in the league. And I gotta say that I'm very excited for what season number 7 will have in store. Year number 7, and I don't know what the Blackhawks are doing, but Connor Bedard is starting off 2029-30 as the second-line centerman. I would think that changes over time. Maybe this was something in the preseason, but Bedard has Chandler Stevenson on his left and Vasily Podkolzin on his right. Boolin's now at a 96 overall. Wouldn't you think he should play with him? I don't know. 47 goals, 90-plus points, and the furthest postseason run in a decade and a half last season. Let's hope that we see more of the same from Connor Bedard. 4 years left on his contract. All those amazing attributes, 95 overall, 24 years of age. Let's see if we can hit that 100-point-plus plateau and have another good run for the Blackhawks. Year number 7 teaches the Blackhawks why you should put 95 overall Connor Bedard on your first line, as the Hawks finish second last in the league with 29 wins, 41 losses, and 12 overtime or shootout losses. Obviously, Connor Bedard can't do much when his line mates both have, like 30 and 40 points? I saw in the halfway point, Stevenson and Beaufait were his line mates, 45 and 33 points. There you go. Bedard somehow gets a 69-point season, 31 goals and 38 assists in 82 games. But what are you doing, Chicago? 95 overall, 24 years of age, 3 more years on his contract after this. At this rate, he's not re-signing, so you better hope the next 3 years are a lot better. All of his attributes are still as great as ever, maybe not the highest that they've been, but still very, very good. I would hopefully think that he's back to being a first-liner next season, and that 2029-30 was a great lesson in what not to do. What a grand idea in year number 8 as Connor Bedard is back to first-line center at a 93 overall. He's dropped a little bit with Bootland at a 95 on his right and Tyson Alsner, who was just drafted 3rd overall, playing on the left wing of Connor Bedard in his rookie season. Nylander down on the second line now. So Connor Bedard, after being buried a little bit further down than he should have been, he's back to the first line. Can he get back to his 90-plus point ways? Some of his attributes have fallen. That's why he's now a 93 overall instead of a 95 overall, but I'm not worried about those if he could just have another good season. 3 more years on this current contract. I like his right wing. His left wing is a rookie. The team not super promising at some points in that lineup. Some holes in there. Let's take a quick look. Third defensive pair is not great. Goaltending, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Joseph Woll, they have not been too good either. I have a lot of trust in Bedard, but not too much in the Hawks organization. So 2030-31, let's see what's in store. In year number 8, the Blackhawks improved from 2nd worst to 3rd worst in the league with another 30th place finish in the NHL, a record of 32, 45, and 5. Bedard had the second best statistical season of his career, scoring 44 goals and 45 assists for 89 points in 82 games. That's pretty much exactly what we'd be looking for from him in this type of simulation, but just the line mates are not there. Him and Bootlin did what they could. That rookie on the left wing, only 38 points. The team itself, horrible. The goaltending, atrocious. I don't know what to say about this organization. Just poverty stuff left and right. But hey, Connor Bedard, 2 years left on his deal. He's still 95 overall. He's coming off of another good individual season. But the team itself has to have a good offseason here. Not only to, hey, let's try and make the postseason, but also, hey, let's try and convince Connor Bedard to stick around on this team. Year number 9, and for the first time in a couple of years, Connor Bedard is on the strongest line possible. He's back to a 95 overall with his 95 overall line mate Doug Bootlin on his right and 87 overall 35-year-old William Nylander on his left. Bedard himself jumping from a 93 back to a 95. Very good to see that. 99 deking, 98 passing, 98 puck control. All shooting accuracies and powers between 96 and 99. My goodness. These are crazy numbers. Some of the best we've seen for certain categories. He is also in the final 2 years of his contract. So as I've been saying, not only does Connor Bedard want to have a strong season, but let's see if the Blackhawks can get out of the basement of the NHL in this 9th year of his career. In year number 9, the Blackhawks finally have a season in which they probably should have made the postseason but didn't. They finished 14th best in the league, and Eastern Conference teams under them made it, but 91 points was not enough in the West. A record of 44, 35, and 3, and it's a postseason miss. For the first time in his career, Connor Bedard missed reasonable time due to injury. It seems as though Connor Bedard ended the season injured, and I would assume that he missed the final 14 games of the season. Before being injured, he had 33 goals and 37 assists for 70 points through 68 games. That was on pace for an 84-point season, and maybe, just maybe, a healthy Connor Bedard could have gotten the Blackhawks to the postseason. Bedard also finished the year with 4 penalty minutes, just 2 minor penalties. At the age of 26, he's still a 95 overall. He still has those attributes, and in 2032-33 he will be heading into the final year of that 7-year extension that he signed way back when. Year number 10, a decade in the league for Connor Bedard, and I can't say he has much to show for it so far, even individually. He's had some lackluster seasons due to some lackluster teammates on a lackluster organization. We gotta hope for some big things in year number 10 because it is the final year of his 7-year extension, and we'll see if he wants to stay in Chicago long term. He has Nylander at an 86 on his left, Bootlin at a 95 on his right. This guy Alzer's up to an 89 overall, Beaufet 84, there you go, but the rest of the team, Xavier Bourgault's your second line center? I don't know. 94 overall, Connor Bedard has lots of great attributes still. The puck skills have dropped a little bit, but still great shooting, incredible attributes all around. 5 stars aside from the 2.5 physical. Last season was shortened due to injury, and that's possibly why the Blackhawks missed the postseason. So let's see if a fully healthy season can give Connor Bedard some career highs and another trip to the postseason. In year number 10, the Blackhawks make it back to the postseason for the first time in 4 years, finishing 11th best in the league with a respectable record of 44, 32, and 6. There's that good old contract year. Connor Bedard, for the first time in his career, hits 100 plus points, playing in a full 82-game season, scoring 41 goals and a new career high of assists at 65 to give himself a new career high in points at 106. Bootlin leading the team in points actually with 108, but Connor Bedard headed into the 2033 postseason is at a 94 overall and coming off the best season of his career. And in the postseason, the Blackhawks once again went on a deep run, taking down the Sharks in 6, the Oilers in 7, but then dropping in the Western Conference Final for the second time in Bedard's career in 5 games to the LA Kings, who went on to lose in the Stanley Cup Final to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Bedard was once again a big piece in that run as he scored 9 goals and 11 assists for 20 points through those 18 games. But now at the age of 27, after 10 years with the franchise, Connor Bedard's contract is expiring, as is William Nylander. So we'll see what the Hawks decide to do with all that money and how Connor Bedard is feeling. Who knows if he wants to come back? Yes, it was a nice Western Conference Final run there in year number 10, but that's only the 3rd time that he's made the postseason with the team. Coming off of a career year and now at a 95 overall, no matter where he lands, he will be commanding a huge AAV. In year number 11, Connor Bedard goes to free agency. I understand why Chicago couldn't afford him. He signs what is likely at this time the biggest contract in NHL history. A 6-year deal paying him $17.375 million per season. Just over $104 million for the next 6 years to play with the Vegas Golden Knights. On his left, he has a 92 overall playmaker. On his right, he has an 87 overall sniper who was a 3rd overall pick just a couple of years ago. It's a fantastic top 6. It's a team that looks poised for much more success than Chicago was. Of course, in the real world, I think that he's probably going to be a lifer with the Blackhawks. But here, after 10 years and only 3 playoff berths, only 2 runs beyond the first round, Connor Bedard says, I am moving on. He is a 95 overall here in Vegas. Shooting attributes between 96 and 99. Offensive awareness at 99. 5-star everything aside from 3-star physical. Let's get ready to see what Connor Bedard can do in the 2033-34 season. And just to put Connor Bedard's contract in perspective, him making $17.375 million in this season where the salary cap is $108.32 million, that's just about 16% of the salary cap. If we put that into terms of what next season's projected salary cap is going to be in the real world, 2023-24 of $83.5 million, that would be as if his AAV today headed into 2023-24 were $13.39 million. Almost $1 million more than what Connor McDavid is currently making. But to no one's surprise here in EA land, the Vegas Golden Knights missed the postseason in Connor Bedard's first year with the squad as the team finishes 20th in the league with a record of 40, 37, and 5. Connor Bedard, however, did his job and he had a strong season. He missed out on 6 games, but in 76 games played, he had 41 goals and 51 assists for 92 points. He also registered a career high in penalty minutes with 22 in a single season. After that first season here in Vegas, he maintains his 95 overall status. Not the year that he would have wanted to start out on, but still a lot of time to go here in Vegas and a lot of money left to be made. So hopefully the team can continue to build around that huge investment, and 2034-35 will be much stronger after he's gotten his feet wet in Vegas. Year number 12, and there are no more excuses for Connor Bedard. He's gotten used to life in Vegas, and he's ready to center the first line once again. Langfeld, 92 overall on his left. Lacroix, a 79 overall on his right. Not ideal. We had a great season last year, and he should be able to pilot this team. It's really the goaltending that has been brutal. These 80 overalls who get sub-900 save percentages every year. That's what's been killing Connor Bedard. But regardless, he has a 95 overall. His puck skills are all between 98 and 99, shooting 96 to 99, 96 speed, 99 offensive awareness. Come on now, Connor Bedard. Let's see another 100-plus point season and a trip to the postseason. A very fitting 12th place finish in year number 12 for Connor Bedard and the Vegas Golden Knights as the team goes 43, 32, and 7 to return Bedard to the postseason. A solid season from Connor Bedard, but probably still not quite what the team was expecting when they paid him that crazy price tag. 78 games played, he scores 41 goals and 45 assists for an 86-point season. Again, very good, but still not quite in that 100-plus point category. Nonetheless, Connor Bedard has now scored 40-plus goals in 3 consecutive seasons, and that's a great track to be on headed into the postseason. In the postseason, Connor Bedard has been getting used to this. Not only does he lose in the conference final for the 3rd consecutive time, but for the 3rd time out of the 4 times he's made the postseason, Connor Bedard is eliminated by the Colorado Avalanche. Vegas wins round 1 and 6, round 2 and 7, but they can get swept out of the Western Conference final by, of course, the Avalanche, who go on to another Stanley Cup final, but they lose in 5 to the Bruins. Bedard led his team in goal scoring and was tied for the lead in points with 10 goals and 20 points through 17 games. It was another good run for Connor Bedard, but he's yet to reach the Stanley Cup final now through 12 seasons. Heading into his 13th season in the league, he is still maintaining his 95 overall status. All of these incredible attributes, crazy 99s across the board, and 3 consecutive disappointing Western Conference final exits. Year number 13, Connor Bedard's 3rd in Vegas, and he's back to his original line back in his first season with the Golden Knights. Langfeld on his left, Glass on his right. It's a strong top 6, But again, the goaltending, okay, a bit better. Vasilevsky's here too at the age of 41. Okay. And they got 70 overalls on the fourth line, and the bottom six is not strong. It's a top-heavy team, and hopefully Bedard can lead them. 95 overall now at the age of 30. All those attributes have been holding quite steadily for the last couple seasons now. Lots of 98s and 99s out there. Coming off of another Western Conference exit, and currently on a streak of 3 consecutive 40-plus goal seasons, as well as 5 consecutive point-per-game plus seasons. Let's see what Connor Bedard can do in 2035-36. Oof, in year number 13, thanks to a weak Pacific Division, the Vegas Golden Knights make the postseason despite finishing 20th in the league. Minnesota up in 13th misses out, but Vegas, with a record of 39, 34, and 9, makes the big dance. What? Connor Bedard, 66 goals and 114 points. How about that for a season? There's Langfeld and his 75 assists. Only missing out on one game, Connor Bedard carries his team scoring 66 goals, a career high in goals and points by far. Only 12 penalty minutes as well. What a season from the 30-year-old. Those 114 points, enough to lead the league in scoring, and those 66 goals, enough to lead the league in goal scoring. What a year for Connor Bedard, and Art Ross and a Rocket Richard at the very least headed into the postseason. Unfortunately, though, in the postseason, Vegas fell in round number 2 to the Coyotes. In round number 1, they took down the Sharks in 7, but then fell in 6 in round number 2. The Coyotes went on to lose to Dallas, and Dallas went on to win the Stanley Cup. Through those 13 games, Connor Bedard wasn't terrible, but he wasn't quite his 66-goal Art Ross self. 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points through 13 games, and he was a -3. At the end of this 13th season, Connor Bedard getting some more individual accolades, some deeper postseason runs, very good to see. And even if there's no Stanley Cup, we can still be very happy to know this was the best year of Connor Bedard's career. An Art Ross trophy, a Hart Memorial trophy, a Maurice Richard trophy, and a Ted Lindsay Award. Somehow he did not win the Lady Byng. McDavid won it. That's why Colorado is so good. McDavid's on Colorado. But still an incredible year of hardware headed into year number 14. Year number 14, and Connor Bedard has many titles to defend headed into 2036-37. He still has Langfeld on his left, Glass on his right. The strongest top 6 that Vegas has had in a while, I would think, in my opinion. The goaltending any better this season? Yeah, 42-year-old Andrei Vasilevsky at 77 overall is going to be the starter. Okay, let's see how that works out. Connor Bedard, 95 overall, coming off of all of that hardware, and another great postseason berth, but still yet to make it past that 3rd round. Could this be the year that we're going a deep run with a 42-year-old voodoo goaltender? Let's see what year number 14 has in store. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Who would have thunk it? But maybe, just maybe, you need an actual NHL caliber goaltender to be an NHL caliber team. The Vegas Golden Knights finish 2nd last in the NHL in year number 14 with a record of 32, 43, and 7. You know what, though? This made a big difference as Connor Bedard suffered the first major injury of his career, missing almost half the season. He only played in 48 games. In those 48 games, he scored 29 goals and 34 assists for 63 points. That would have put him on a pace of 108 points. But unfortunately, he was gone for a very long time. I don't know if that would have been enough to get Vegas into the postseason, but definitely not 2nd last in the league. But you know what? Like I said, goaltending, being 70 overall, 42 years of age, 77, and this guy's 71. Yeah, that doesn't help. How many years has Connor Bedard played on teams where both goalies are sub 900 save percentage? And both these goalies end the season at 3.7 goals against average? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, poor Connor Bedard, he's healing off of that injury. He had a great season, but very shortened, unfortunately, and the team itself struggled a lot, but he's still a 95 overall. He's still got those attributes. He's going to bounce back and try to get back into the 100-plus point realm in year number 15. Year number 15, and Connor Bedard now has a new line mate here in Vegas. Glass is still on his right, but now Emmanuel Appleby, who's been a 2nd liner, is now going to be a 1st liner, an 88 overall two-way forward. We'll see how he does with Connor Bedard, who now at the age of 32 has dropped down to a 93 overall. The puck skills now between 92 and 95. The shooting no longer between 96 and 99, now between 93 and 98. So things are slowly starting to come down a little bit. Strong seasons should slow slow that regression slash push things back up. So I'm not too worried just yet. What I am worried about is, does Vegas have a goaltender? Yes. Gaspard Roy. There you go. At least there's a real goaltender who's not 77 overall. So Connor Bedard is poised to have a better season. He's fully healthy. He has a starting goaltender. He still has high attributes. 2,037-38, his 15th year in the league. Let's see what he can do. In year number 15, Vegas got enough wins, but too many regulation losses, as their record of 40, 38, and 4 had them finish 21st in the NHL, once again out of the postseason. Connor Bedard was back to almost full health, playing in 80 out of 82 games, and in those 80 games, he scored 39 goals and 51 assists for a 90-point campaign. Now at 32 years of age, he's still a 93 overall, but headed into the final year of that massive $104+ million contract that he signed, giving him $17.375 million per season. He's still very capable. He still has the abilities to do so much. I think it's the team and the line mates more than anything. So much bad luck for Bedard so far in his career. I hope that he'll have some better luck in year number 16, and no matter how the season goes, he'll have some clarity moving into the final stages of his career. Year number 16, Connor Bedard's 6th and possibly final season with the Vegas Golden Knights. He's back up to a 94 overall, but his franchise potential has dropped to elite potential, which means that it may drop a bit more quickly if the performances are not being met. We'll see what happens. We shouldn't have to worry about it too much until the age really starts to catch up to us. But at 33 years of age, he is a 94 overall, and those attributes, like I said, they move around. The puck skills are back to 98 to 99. The shooting's back to 95 to 99, but over time, those will get better as the skating and the physical go down, but I digress. You'll see that as we go on. Glass and Appleby are still his line mates as he looks for a 9th consecutive point-per-game plus season, and hopefully, just hopefully, a 3rd postseason berth with Vegas. Man, more bad luck for Connor Bedard. In year number 16, Vegas wins 45 games and finishes 14th best in the NHL, but the Pacific is stacked and they miss out on the postseason, despite having 94 points and a record of 45, 33, and 4. Another point-per-game plus season for Connor Bedard, who has really done well in Vegas individually. 46 goals, 52 assists, and 98 points in 82 games this season. But now at 33, and by the way, only 6 penalty minutes. Shout out to that. But now at 33 years of age, he's still a 94 overall and will command quite a pretty penny in free agency. So we'll see. Does Vegas think that we got to bring this guy back and we're just on the edge of greatness? Or will he have to walk because of the price tag? The attributes look great. He definitely has a lot left in the tank. We're moving towards the later years, but he's not ready to slow down just yet. So let's see what the 2039 offseason has in store. And yes, those 6 penalty minutes did indeed win Connor Bedard his 2nd Lady Byng Memorial Trophy. In the 2039 offseason, Connor Bedard decides to believe in Vegas and signs a 4-year extension with the team at an AAV of $13.05 million, giving him just over $52 million. In total, we're getting close to $160 million just from Vegas. He's 34 years of age. This may be the last contract of his career. Who knows? It may be, who knows, maybe 3-4 years after that. I've seen crazier things in our career simulations. But Connor Bedard is still a 93 overall and centering the top line in Vegas. This guy, Kalle Lilia, on his left and Joseph Glass still on his right. At 93 overall, he still has elite potential. The puck skills are dropping. The shot powers are still at 99 though. 5-star everything aside from 2.5-star physical. 2039-40. Let's hit it. At long last, in year number 17, Connor Bedard isn't just part of a postseason team, but a part of a team that won their division and won their conference and almost even won the President's Trophy, as Vegas finishes 2nd best in the league with a record of 54, 24, and 4. Connor Bedard registers the 3rd 100-plus point season of his career, scoring 34 goals and 68 assists for 102 points in all 82 games played. Now at 34 years of age, he's down to a 92 overall, but that didn't seem to stop him, and that first line in Vegas was deadly. And of course, can't forget to mention, this was a career high in assists for Bedard. In the postseason, Connor Bedard is once again a part of a deep run and finally, for the first time in his career, reaches the Stanley Cup final. But after taking down the Ducks in 6, the Oilers in 5, and the Sharks in 7, Bedard and the Golden Knights fall in 6 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Connor Bedard went nuclear in this postseason at the age of 34, scoring 20 goals and 19 assists for 39 points in 24 games. Ridiculous that he didn't win the Conn Smythe despite the losing effort. The winner was a guy in the Hurricanes who scored 23 points. And meanwhile, Bedard with 39 doesn't get the Conn Smythe. Broken in EA land. That would be an act in the real world. It's hard to mix the real and the virtual, but that would have been a Conn Smythe for Connor Bedard. At the age of 34, headed into his 18th season, he's still a 92 overall. He's coming off of one of the better seasons of his career. The puck skills are dropping, but the shooting is still high. The defense is still high. The skating is still fast enough. Offensive awareness. I'm still counting on more from Bedard, and hopefully it'll be a strong 2040 offseason, both for him and the Golden Knights. Year number 18, and Connor Bedard is once again playing with Lilia and Glass on the top line in Vegas. A great line last season. Hopefully it continues. A very good top 6 overall. Bedard at 35 years of age is still a 92 overall. He's hanging on to the overall quite well. Usually players continue to perform but regress just like on paper, but he's still hanging on to it. The puck skills are down to 90 to 93 now, but the shooting still has 99 power, 96 offensive awareness, physical 2.5. That's never been anything crazy, but hey, 3 more years to go at $13.05 million. It doesn't look like he'll be slowing down, and especially after coming off of a Stanley Cup final heartbreak, you just know that Vegas is going to be all out in this 2040-41 season. Another strong season here in Las Vegas as the Vegas Golden Knights finish 8th best in the NHL with a record of 45, 30, and 7 to get Connor Bedard into the postseason in back-to-back years for just the second time in his career. And he played no small part, as at 35 years of age, he is just aging like a fine wine. 45 goals and 59 assists for 104 points in 78 games. He is still at that high overall, only dropped by 1. He's 91 overall at 35 years of age. Headed into the 2041 postseason, could another strong season from a strong team finally put Vegas over the hump and get Bedard a Stanley Cup ring? Alas, it was not meant to be, as Vegas falls in round number 1 in 7 games to the San Jose Sharks, who go on to lose in the Western Conference Final to the Wild, who lose in the 2041 Final to the Bruins. In those 7 games, Connor Bedard was buzzing. He led the team in shots with 28, but only scored 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points in 7 games. I say only, it's because he just scored back-to-back 100-point seasons for the first time in his career. But having said all that, we head into year number 19, 2041-42, with Connor Bedard at 35 years of age and still maintaining his 91 overall. As of now, we'll see if that changes over the course of this offseason. You got to train hard and keep well, buddy, because we're down to defense 4 stars, physical 2 stars. The rest of those 5 stars got to be maintained as much as possible. Year number 19, here we go. Connor Bedard still first-line center in Vegas with Lilia on his left. No longer with Glass on his right, though. Chandler McKenzie has been promoted. He was the 2nd overall pick in 2037, a power forward with 5-star shooting. That should be a great help to Connor Bedard, who is 36 years of age and at a 90 overall. His elite potential has now dropped down to top 6 potential, so we'll see what that means for this season. Still 5-star everything aside from the 4-star defense and 2-star physical, as we left off after that round 1 exit, just the second round 1 exit of Bedard's career. If there's ever a time to go out and get a Stanley Cup, now would be the time. And let's see also if Bedard can make the postseason for 3 consecutive years for the first time in his career. Despite only 43 wins, year number 19 sees Vegas win another Pacific Division title, finishing 11th best in the league with a record of 43, 29, and 10. Connor Bedard, baby, he's still got it. Another 100-plus point season, just hitting the triple digits in 80 games. 44 goals and 56 assists from the 36-year-old. He's ready for another postseason run. He's down to an 88 overall now. Time's going to catch up with him. It's the physical, it's the skating, it's even the puck skills. That's going to start coming down, the shot blocking, stuff like that. As long as the shooting, the passing, the offensive awareness is still there, I have full confidence in him carrying Vegas in this postseason. Boy, more heartbreak for Connor Bedard in the postseason as he once again goes on a great run but falls in the conference final, taking down Colorado in 5, Edmonton in 7, but then falling in 5 to the Coyotes, who fell in 5 themselves to the Hurricanes for the 2042 Cup. As expected, Connor Bedard led the team in goal scoring, in point scoring, 12 goals, 7 assists, and 19 points in 17 games from the 36-year-old. Lilia right behind. He actually won the Hart and the Ted Lindsay. No awards for Bedard this season, but he was incredible again. Now at 36 years of age, he's down to an 87 overall. He's headed into his 20th NHL season, which will also be the final year of his contract. Could it be the final year of his career? Time will tell, but I'm hoping that he stays in shape, keeps up his overall, and can center that top line once again next season. Year number 20 and a decade with the Vegas Golden Knights. Connor Bedard still centering the top line with Lilia coming off of a Hart and a Ted Lindsay on his left and McKenzie on his right. Connor Bedard, 87 overall at 37 years of age. Only 5-star left are senses and shooting. Everything else between physical 2 stars or puck skills 4.5 stars, but still some great attributes in there. 90 face-offs, 91 deking. All very important skills. Of course, the 99 discipline. All the shooting is still between 96 and 97. His contract will expire after this season, so here's the question. Despite him very likely still being capable, will Connor Bedard call it a career as his contract expires and give it one last shot at the cup, or does he have a little bit in him after this season? For now, we're thinking about 2042-43. Connor Bedard coming off of another Western Conference final exit. May this finally be the year. And in year number 20, Connor Bedard is a part of his first ever President's Trophy winning team as Vegas wins the Pacific, the West, and the National Hockey League, finishing atop all other 31 teams, that is, with a 53-23-6 record. Now, unfortunately, Connor Bedard's season was cut short due to injury. He missed 16 games, but in 66, he scored 43 goals and 27 assists for 70 points. That was on pace for a 53-goal season, as well as that being on pace for an 87-point season. So now, the 37-year-old Connor Bedard, in the final year of his contract, will enter the 2043 postseason as an 87 overall. Is this the last ride? Can the President's Trophy winning Vegas Golden Knights go all the way? Let's find out. But alas, the Vegas Golden Knights fall in round number 2. They took down Seattle in 5 in round number 1, but fall in 6 to the Flames in the second round. The Flames would go on to lose to the Predators, who went on to lose to the Bruins. It's like always the same teams in the East who won the 2043 Cup. Connor Bedard still point per game plus in the postseason as he scored 7 goals and 5 assists for 12 points through 11 games. Now at 37 years of age, after 2 decades in the NHL, he's still an 87 overall, but he's out of a contract. Does he still have the ability? Absolutely. But does he have the heart after all of these postseason exits? We'll see in the 2043 offseason whether or not Connor Bedard will re-sign, and if he does, with which team. Check this out. Sometimes the EA gods just know what they're doing. In 2043, Connor Bedard signs with his hometown Vancouver Canucks. At 38 years of age, he's still an 86 overall now, and he has top 9 potential. This is a second line forward. He signs a 2-year deal with the Canucks, paying him $10.7 million per season, so making close to $21.5 million if he stays for both seasons. Maybe it's just a 1-year thing, who knows? But Connor Bedard is in Vancouver. Get excited, Canucks fans. He has Ralph Smith, an 89 overall playmaker, on his left, and Adam Leach, a 77 overall sniper, on his right. There's this guy, Zachary Delzato, a 91 overall power forward. All right, so the core is not horrible. Connor Bedard is staying in the Pacific Division. We'll see if the team around him is decent. He's coming off of 4 consecutive postseason berths and very consistently 30, 40-plus goals, point per game plus. Can he still do it in Vancouver at 38 years of age? 2043-44. Let's hit it. An ugly season in Vancouver as the Canucks finished 28th in the NHL with a record of 33-42-7. But Connor Bedard still delivered. 37 goals and 37 assists for 74 points in 78 games from the hometown 38-year-old. He is now an 85 overall with that top 9 potential. But here's the question. Did he want to come to Vancouver to do something special, or did he just want to end off his career saying that he got to play for his hometown team. 1 year left on his deal, but I wouldn't say that this team is necessarily on the up and up after that type of season. -21, not a lot of support out there. Still only 3 minor penalties. He's a gentleman, but does he want to come back for one more season or decide to call it a career in the 2044 offseason? And in the 2044 offseason, Connor Bedard does indeed call it a career, saying thanks but no thanks. I'm going to go ahead and forego that last season on my contract. Connor Bedard, let's start breaking it all down, retires with 799 goals, just one shy of 800, and 934 assists to give him a total of 1,733 points in 1,624 games across 10 years in Chicago, 10 years in Las Vegas, and 1 year in Vancouver. Breaking it all down now, he goes out at an 85 overall. He still had it. I think it's more to do with the heart than anything with all those postseason heartbreaks. He was a prolific goal scorer as he was consistently around that 40-goal mark, his highest being 66 in that one crazy season, 2035-36. His highest assist total was 68 in 2039-40, and the most points that he ever scored in a season was 114. He goes out as a plus 152, only totaling 246 penalty minutes in his 1,624 games. He took over 5,300 shots, shooting at 14.8%, 122 out of his 799 goals were game winners. 390 of his 1,733 points were power play points, 25 of them shorthanded. He averaged 20 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time per night throughout his long career, playing over 33,500 minutes. He took over 40,300 faceoffs, winning over 22,000 of them, giving him a career 54.7% on the dot. Very good when it came to the faceoffs. He threw 917 hits. He blocked 381 shots, 940 giveaways to 2,012 takeaways. I'm surprised he never got a Selke for some of these great numbers. Let's look at the best take, like 140 takeaways to 42 giveaways, Selke numbers, but he never got that recognition. Now transitioning over to the postseason numbers, unfortunately not too much to look at. Not a lot of postseason berths, but deep runs that gave him 132 postseason games played. In those 132 games, he scored 79 goals and 76 assists for 155 points. He was a plus 16, 38 penalty minutes, shooting at 17.4%. 37 power play points, averaging close to 22 minutes of ice time per night, and 54.27% on the dot. Hits, blocks, takeaways, 145 takeaways to 80 giveaways. Looking at it in the eyes of history, obviously much more will change between now and the year 2044, but just to put it in perspective, if Connor Bedard's numbers were to be put into the history books today, his 1,624 games played would place him 12th all-time behind Scott Stevens and ahead of Larry Murphy. His 799 goals would be 4th all-time behind Gordie Howe and ahead of Jaromir Jagr. His 934 assists would tie him for 17th all-time with Al MacInnis, currently behind Sidney Crosby and ahead of Larry Murphy. And finally, his 1,733 points would put him 8th all-time behind Stevie Y and ahead of Mario Lemieux. Checking the record books here, no franchise records with the Blackhawks, single season records, none, rookie records, none, surprisingly. So it wasn't a great rookie season, but I'm sure he'll break some of those in the real world. Single game records, none. Over in Vegas, I wouldn't be surprised if he holds some of these records. I know there have been some good other players that he's played with. But Connor Bedard does indeed hold the record for all-time goals and points as a Vegas Golden Knight. 428 goals and 919 points in Vegas, currently holding those two records with Joseph Glass coming after him. That's for the entire franchise. Single season records, Connor Bedard, record for most goals in a season at 66, most points in a season at 114. Rookie records, obviously none, and single game records, he has the record for most points in a game with 6 in 2035. We could also look at Vancouver records, single game, no, none of those. It was a nice fairy tale ending to have him end in Vancouver. Not the greatest season, but still fun to say. Looking at the all-time records here, the record book is broken, unfortunately. You can see here Vasilevsky's 1,600 games played, obviously not true, but does his name come up in any of these graphics here? Jordan Gavin, who's that? Look at that. No, not seeing Connor Bedard in any of these league-wide records. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 21-year career of Connor Bedard, drafted first overall in 2023 by the Blackhawks, 10 years in the Chicago Blackhawks organization, 10 years with the Vegas Golden Knights, 1 year with the Vancouver Canucks, making a boatload of money along the way. Obviously, a lot of these seasons won't be full 82-game seasons, so if I had to take a guess, the points are probably going to be around, I would think that Connor Bedard's final points would be around here, maybe a bit higher. Total games played, maybe a little bit lower. His average 82-game season, I think that'll be much higher as well. His first few seasons, it won't take him as long to get going as it did with the Blackhawks. And I think he'll win a lot more hardware as in the 2030s, he won't be competing with these generated players that don't exist. But he does go out with 2 Lady Bings, 1 Hart, 1 Art Ross, 1 Ted Lindsay, and 1 Rocket Richard, and a lot of playoff heartbreak. 1 Stanley Cup final exit, 4 Western Conference final exits, 2 second-round exits, and 2 first-round exits. Never achieving that elusive Stanley Cup in his 9 playoff berths throughout his 21-year career. So I'll go ahead and wrap it there, ladies and gentlemen. Now I turn to you. What do you think about this simulation? What could be realistic? What not so realistic? Always, take it with a grain of salt, as we always should. If you enjoyed this simulation, please check out the rest of the simulations, especially the last Chicago Blackhawks simulation we did with Bedard, where he spent his entire career with Chicago, but with Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews. A bit of a different simulation, but go ahead and check that one out in the end cards of this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and please do subscribe for more content like this. I started simulating at 9 at night. It's 4 in the morning. I gotta edit. If you're watching that, it means I made it. These simulations usually take about a week to record, edit, and upload. I'm trying to do it all in one night. I gotta be at work in like 4 hours. A subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated, because more content like this, career simulations, franchise mode, breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey, that is what goes on here on the channel. So if you enjoyed this, take a second, check out the rest of what's going on here on the channel, and it'll be that much better with you joining us and becoming a part of it. And please let me know down in the comments, aside from all your thoughts, which career simulation do you want to see next? Many more coming this summer as soon as the NHL draft results are in late June, so keep an eye out for those as well. I'll stop there. Connor Bedard, what a career. He'll be off to the Chicago Blackhawks. It'll be fun to revisit this a few years down the road to see how much was actually accurate in the end. But he has a tall task ahead of him to fix that Chicago Blackhawks organization, so I wish him the best, and I wish you the very best as well. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.